What's going on, y'all? It's J Smo Reviews back at it here again with another video. Today we're going to be doing my predictions for Kings versus Queens 3 this weekend in Charlotte, North Carolina. Shout out to the home city, man. Should be a dope event. We're going to get into that. But before I get into breaking down that event and those predictions, I just want to say thank you to you guys. Recently, my last video over the weekend, I just uploaded and started a new series, Golden Years, going over some of the best runs, best years in battle rap history. And I did Brizz's 2017, late 2016, and fully 2017 run. Got a lot of love. Some of the most views I've gotten on this channel, best feedback, and even Briz himself was able to leave a comment and show some love. So I just want to say thank you to those that reposted it. Those that liked it, those that just watched it and enjoyed it. I love making this content, and to see it appreciated, to see that you guys like the content too, that means everything to me, man. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for that, and now we can get into breaking down some of the predictions for this event. To start out, we're going to start with the day 2 card. Pretty solid for a day 2, as you would expect. Some intermediate matchups, maybe some ones that you weren't expecting, and it almost feels like just filler battles for a card that just didn't make the main card. So I'm not mad at it. To start out here, we got Steems versus Elijah, which will probably be the opener for that. I mean, it is day 2, so I guess it wouldn't be an opener for these events, but it is kind of like the tacked on battle to what seems like a couple of tacked on battles. But I digress. Steems versus Elijah, initially supposed to go down in initiation. I have Elijah 2-1 clear going in. I believe the last time we seen Steems on URL was Repo Rel. That was one of the worst battles of the Caffeine era. That was pretty ridiculous. But not to just judge him off that. Steems definitely has a pretty solid pen, but I think his performance is a little played out in this era. Maybe he is able to do good, but I think Elijah's a young guy, one of the better guys in a UM4 class that I haven't particularly been a fan of, but a pretty good repeat puncher. I just think he's able to go in there, write a little better, have some more energy, and get the 2-1 pretty clear over Steems. But going into battles in the actual card, we have Shotgun Shug versus Miss Miami. I'm going to be real. I got Shug 2-1 possible 30. The only reason that I don't have it as a clear 30 is because I think Shug might fuck up for a round or not take it serious. We'll see. But I think the talent gap here goes without saying, especially if it's going to be on a stage. I know Shug doesn't win that many battles like that, but, I just don't see Miss Miami putting it all together to have a competitive performance, even if she is. So I give the 2-1, if Shug has a light round and she's able to come with it, I think that she can get around. But I have Shug clear. JC versus C3. Shout out to C3, always taking on all the top tier men. I think that she's fantastic, but JC's having a blistering hot start to the year. He's been good in just about everything he's been in. He's in my personal top 5 running. If there was a champion of the year, mock list, I would have him somewhere in the top 5 right now. And I think he gets out of here 2-1 clear on C3. I think C3 is admirable, so I do want to give her a round. A 30 wouldn't blow me away. I mean, we saw what JC did to Lady Flames, I believe it was, on Kings versus Queens 2. And First Lady Flames is one of those, so I'm going to call it 2-1 clear for now. And then the last battle on the day 2 card, Fonz versus Shoony. Shoony had a 1-rounder with, I believe it was Fendi earlier this year on Midnight Madness. She was great in that. Definitely some good momentum, and this is her first battle since then. And Fonz has battled Tink, but a lot of battles come in and out for Fonz. Seems like he books a lot of battles. The A-board battle got canceled, which sucked. But real name Brandon, that got pushed back. I think that got canceled. But it looks like he's finally going to have another chance to get back on stage here and go against Shoony. And just the power puncher that Fonz is. One of my personal up-and-comer favorites. I think there's superstar potential in this guy. And I think he goes in here and kind of washes Shoony. I think Shoony can get around, so the 2-1 is possible. But I'm going with the 30. So instead of 2-1 possible 30, I'm going with the 30 possible 2-1. Because Shoony definitely has been in her bag lately. But power puncher, the haymakers, Fonz getting a chance to get up on a real stage again in front of like a hefty crowd. I just think he lands, and I think he has a breakout performance on this card. And that, I believe, will wrap up all of the day 2 battles. And now we can get into the main card. So starting off here with the first battle on the main card and potentially the battle of the night, Jackboy Maine versus First Lady Flames. This battle right here is going to be very, very fire. two very aggressive performers, very good, creative, unique pens. And I believe that they're in a relationship in real life. Shout out to them. So even though people usually think the closer two battlers are, that could lead to a worse battle, I actually think that it can be opposite. It's definitely not something we're just going to be good or just going to be bad. But both of these rappers are immensely talented. The battle definitely makes sense, and I expect them to really put on a showcase. Going in, if I have to pick a winner, I got Flames 2-1 on a preference I even have here written on my notes. In one of, if it's not the battle of the night, it is going to be one of the better battles of the night. I actually don't have it as battle of the night, but it is definitely going to be in that conversation regardless. And I think most people are going to pick it to be battle of the night. But I think with the stage element, there are some battlers towards the top of the card that are really going to get a lot of love and are at their best on stages. So that's the reason that is the reason I reserve it. But straight on quality, these are probably two of the hungriest battlers on the card, and it's going to make for an amazing matchup. Whether you have Jack 2-1, Flames 2-1, this is going to be a great battle. And that gets us into a battle that not as many people are excited about. DNA versus Official. I've seen a lot of pushback for this battle being booked. I think some of that is a lot of people there is some DNA hate out there, guys. I know that DNA is considered pretty corny among the consensus to an extent. There definitely is some corniness to his style, but DNA is a legend. I always feel like he's gotten overhated, and we look over some of the best things, how talented of an angler he is particularly. But freestyling some of the abilities that he can bring, he's just not that easy of a battler to beat either. And I think he had an amazing 2021 campaign. He just 30'd hollow. So DNA's been having a good start. I think DNA's just been doing good, contrary to some of the way that he's talked about. An Official who actually just had, it feels like a get back battle versus Casey after a slump that came with some choking. Damn, my hair's getting my ass. But came with some choking, some fucking up. But this battle, people aren't that excited for the booking. I can understand. It seems like somewhat of a random matchup. But I have DNA 2-1 going in. A debatable and possibly an underwhelming battle. I do agree that it's kind of a random matchup. And when matchups like this are this random, I don't know how motivated they'll be, just to write at their best versus each other. I hope it's good. I hope they make me wrong. And even if it's just a solid debatable battle or a solid someone wins 2-1 clear, I'll take that. But I have DNA 2-1 edge going into the battle. Following DNA and Official, before we get to the main events, the next battle is Clips versus Yoshi G. I have this battle as a 30 and a body bag. I have Clips washing Yoshi. Now, I know that can piss some people off. I know that Yoshi has a pretty strong fan base and that she feels very doubted. They feel like she's gotten a lot of hate. But I feel like I have some logical reasons why I have this. Yoshi's strength is in her pen. I think that she does write a little better than Clips on the double entendre in terms of complexity, that she can do some things better in that department. But Kings versus Queens is an event where if it was a pen versus pen matchup, maybe her versus a JC or something, I think it'll get appreciated more. But as you get to these higher ups, we want to see angles, we want to see some intangibles, we want to see some shock value shit. And that's just the truth of the matter. That's how the crowd's going to go about it. It's how a lot of people do. When you verse Clips, it's not just about how you can write. It's about showing your overall game. That gets me into my second point. It is on a stage. Stages are tough. Yoshi just versed Prestavia on the stage, and we saw that really did not go very well for her. I had that battle, her losing that battle clear and pretty handily clear. And now you got Clips, who is possibly the best big stage battler in the history of battle rap, in the history of the sport. Just a lot of things that are working against Yoshi right now. I don't necessarily think she's just going to come up and be bad, but I think for this particular setting, Clips knows what to do more. He is just better at it. He's shown more. It's Clips. What else do I have to say? I just think it almost seems like a setup battle. Hopefully she's able to prove me wrong and do great, but I do have Clips 3-0 possible body bag. And that gets me into the last battle before we break down some of the co-main events. Verb versus Casey. Now, for a very long time, I had Casey 2-1. I think she would have been motivated. I think it would have been kind of a yuck, not a yuck battle, but a little bit more lackluster, kind of like what people were predicting DNA and Official would be like. But with Verb's recent seriousness, it seems, towards battle rap, was kind of better versus easy, right? And then versus Pass, he was just great. He's talking his shit. He seems pretty motivated. And it's not just multisyllabic rhyming words for the sake of rhyming words. It's kind of felt like, I feel like there's more substance and content that we can pull out and actually look at and be like, this was fire. I see the message he was trying to get across here. This bar hit, on top of having the pockets. So I've switched it. I think it's a sleeper battle, not like battle of the night potential, but I think it would be better than what people are making it out to be. I have Verb 2-1 edge though over Casey. I think it'll be debatable, and I just think it'll be pretty good. So that's most of the card, and now to break down the co-main event and the main event of the night. To start out, we're going to go over Rock versus Vixen. Obviously, this battle was originally Surf versus Vixen. Due to some things, I'm sure, scheduling with Surf's and Cortez going down on Civil War 2. I will eventually have a video out addressing that as well. But I did mention it. I gave it an announcement when it came out on Twitter. For those of you that don't know, my Twitter's in the description. Follow me there if you want some updates on battle rap shit, update to update. It's kind of hard to make videos for every single little thing that comes out. So a lot of stuff I just talk about on my Twitter. But I digress, back to the battle. So Surf, with Cortez, the scheduling 2 weeks within, what would have been this battle and that one, he was switched out for Tay-Rock. Now, I believe, I don't know 100%, if they're both riding on 2 weeks prep for this, that is definitely a humongous factor. If that is the case, I think that works in Vixen's favor. Obviously, I think that I don't know if she's the hungriest on the card per se to win, but she's going to be one of the hungrier. She is a top line. She is representing the ladies. She's already done great on Kings versus Queens before, although she did lose to Loso pretty bad in the last one. She's beaten DNA. She's one of the leading, I believe, especially for the new era. She is the face, the new leading era face for women's battle rap. Just a fantastic battler. And if it's on shorter prep, I have her heart being in it and her still being able to pen some of the best shit that she could come up with, as opposed to an established Rock who is always consistent. But, when it comes down to it in that 2 weeks, is he writing just nothing but heaters? We'll see. I mean, either way, I have this being a great battle. But if they have had somewhere around 3 weeks to a month, if it's a little more extended, if this has been planned, I have Rock pretty comfortably winning 2-1 in that case. I just think he's a little more seasoned, can just do some things better. But I think Vixen's great on that stage. It's probably one of the best chances of the ladies to win a battle on this night. Obviously, I haven't predicted very much in the ladies' favor so far, but I think this is one of their best chances. I can't go against my gut when it comes to betting on history, so I am going to go with Rock 2-1 edge over Vixen. I think it's very possible for Vixen to win this, and I think regardless, Vixen is going to have the highlight round and the best round of this battle. I think Vixen is going to be fantastic and make a statement either way. I just don't know if I can bet against Tay-Rock in a situation like this. But regardless, I have Rock on a 2-1 edge, damn near preference, and now we can get into the main event of the night and the battle that it seems has sold this entire card. And that main event would be Gichi Gotti versus Jazz the Rapper. A lot of talk about this for a very long time. This was the only battle announced for the card. Nobody knew about the undercard, whatever. They announced it very late. Thankfully, it was, pretty solid undercard to go with it. But, Gichi versus Jazz, Gichi versus Jazz. The shots they've thrown at each other, we're finally getting it. From what I have just seen from Gichi versus Clean Paper and how light he took that, the way he's promoted, Gichi wants to come in here, and he is very motivated for Jazz. Gichi Gotti has debatably been the best battle rapper in the world for the last couple years. He's on a historic run. You have a Jazz who just returned versus Gaddis, was super fire, was in the building for that. She was absolutely incredible and one of the best performances of the night. Probably got the most crowd reaction of anyone that night, maybe besides Twerk, possibly. But I just find it hard when you got a guy this good, this upper echelon that's motivated for you like this. Angles that haven't been touched up on versus Jazz really yet. Not by, serious anglers. It's going to be tough. I think this is, very similar to Rock and Vixen. I just think this is going to be a great battle no matter what. I think both are going to be great. Predicting the winner really doesn't predict their individual performances, because I think that just like their co-main event, both of them will be extremely motivated. Jazz has the potential to have, possibly the highlight round. But when you talk about angling, just complete battling, I don't know if we've seen, in terms of all the characteristics in battle rap, if we've seen someone be all around elite in as many traits as I see Gichi Gotti. Real talk, angling, pretty decent puncher. I think some of his writing can miss, but just as a straight back-to-back puncher, I've seen him in battles have the ability to land back-to-back haymakers. His stage presence is fantastic. His performance is fantastic. His crowd control is fantastic. Jazz, out of all the ladies, is actually really good in some of these crowd controlling aspects too. Her crowd control is great. Her ability to land charged up haymakers is great. But I just think Gichi is overwhelming. I have this battle as 2-1 clear for Gichi Gotti. I don't see Jazz getting 30'd. I know there's talk of that. But Jazz is just too talented. One of the best ladies in these pressure situations. I just think that she's about as motivated. I mean, how motivated can Jazz be? You know, Jazz has to be extremely motivated for this battle as well. I know that she knows there's a lot riding on it legacy-wise with her battling, you know, not only one of the top battlers in the world, but a male. I believe this is not her first, she battled Shuffle T, but her first URL battle versus another male, or, you know, big league battle versus a guy. You know, this is definitely going to be, I think this will live up to the hype one way or another, but I do have Gichi Gotti 2-1 clear, and I have Jazz comfortably getting the round she gets, not just some debatable. I have Jazz getting a round, but I just think the all-around game of Gichi Gotti and where he's at, how motivated he's looked for this battle is too much for me to bet against. And with that being said, guys, that's going to wrap up my predictions here for Kings vs. Queens 3. Let me know down below, comment, what do you think is battle of the night? What do you think is going to be performance of the night? Who do you think is going to be lackluster, lose, win? You know, let me know any of your thoughts on the card. I definitely think it's going to be a good card. I'll be posted up watching it. But yeah, guys, expect some more content this week. I have some more, you know, planned as per usual, trying to get these new series, these more history-driven series and stuff. I like putting out that old content, so expect more flashback stuff from the past upcoming. But I'll definitely have a recap for this card when it comes out, as well as talking about some other cards and battle rap news around the culture. So it's been a pleasure. Hope that y'all are starting your week good, and I'm out again, man. Peace.